Hello, all you pre-AP kids. So let's talk about the Double Dipper project. Some of this information I've given you before, but there are some things I wanted to reiterate, some things I wanted to clarify, and some things I wanted to add. So to begin, remember, the Double Dipper project is end of year project for me and summer project for English 2 pre-AP with Ms. Schwanke, who will be your teacher next year. You're going to complete the project now, get it done before the summer, which is a benefit, right? You would be in school right now anyway. You technically are in school right now anyway. You're getting to double dip on your time and do your summer project during not summer, which is right now, okay? So you're gonna do that right now, be over with it, done with it by May 29th. Another benefit to the Double Dipper project is that along the way, I am in the Google Classroom, and when you turn in your dialectical journals, which you'll be reading about in the assignment in a second, I'll be able to look at those and give you some feedback, and then you'll be able to go in and make changes before you actually turn them in for a number grade next year. Same thing with the essay. When you're working on that thing, you'll have access to me either by email or by the private message on the Google Classroom, or I've put my cell phone number on that assignment sheet that's in the Google Classroom. So if you somehow don't already have it, then you have it, okay? So that should be beneficial because if you let me edit your paper and talk to me about the things you're thinking and run ideas by me, then hopefully that would translate to a pretty decent grade at the beginning of the school year next year when you turn it in for Ms. Schwanke. So let's talk about due dates because there's due dates for me and due dates for her. So let's start with me. For me, you've got to have 10 dialectical journals to me by May 8th, another 10 dialectical journals to me by May 15th, and the final essay to me by May 29th. That gives you the month of May to read a book and work through that work, okay? For Ms. Schwanke, the due date that she will take up your summer project is the first day of school next year. You're going to submit it to her in turnitin.com after we've done all the messing with it. You've gotten all the feedback. You're happy with it. You think that it's going to be good. Then you turn it into her. If you want to turn it in earlier than the first day of school, that would be a good idea, right? But it's due for you on the first day of school next year. She's also going to want a hard copy from you on the first day of school next year, assuming that we start the first day of school in an actual physical school building, okay? So those due dates are different things depending on English 1 or English 2. For me, it's the dates I need it by so that I can give you feedback. For her, it's the date when she will begin being your teacher and she will begin taking grades for you, okay? All right. Attached to this assignment, I have asked you to complete a work plan. I've asked you to tell me how are you going to structure your time, how are you going to organize yourself, hold yourself accountable for making sure that you complete this project by the due dates, okay? I've also asked how are you going to hold yourself accountable for making sure that you produce quality work. So you're going to write a quick plan for me, little paragraph about what you're going to do to keep yourself on track. You have gained a lot of ground this year as far as time management and holding yourself accountable to things like deadlines and quality of work. And unfortunately, here at the end of the year, because we've been quarantined and isolated, it has been harder for some of you to keep that momentum that you had previously gained. So I would like for you, and I encourage you, reconnect with that idea of deadlines and due dates and working on a time schedule because that is a reality of life. All right, next up, I wanted to talk to you about this idea. One of my good bosses that I had in the past told me one time, you know, you're interviewing for a job every day. And when he said that, what he meant was you can show up looking like $1 million and you can talk your way into a job at a job interview. But if you don't show up performing like that $1 million every day of your job. And if your behavior and your actions don't match the talk that you talked during that interview, it's going to be very obvious to your employers and to your coworkers that you are not who you portrayed yourself to be in that interview. People who understand that they're interviewing for a job every day push themselves to be the very best version of themselves that they can possibly muster on every single day. They work harder than other people. They work smarter than other people. They produce higher quality work than other people. And then when that job interview actually does come along, or when that promotion actually does come along, or when the company or the organization needs somebody that they know they can count on, this person is the person who gets called. That leads me to this. My expectations for you are that you will be world leaders. You will be leaders in your family. You will be leaders in your community. You will be leaders in whatever career you decide to pursue, and that you will lead for the good. So this stuff right here is about training leaders, training people to be responsible, training people to be articulate, training people to be able to communicate in an effective manner, to hold themselves accountable for high quality work. All of that is super important to me, and those are my expectations for you. And I know, because I've spoken with Ms. Schwanke, your teacher for next year, those are also her expectations for you for next year. All right, final thing. At the end of the year, you guys know we always do the Ed Cup. Had we been at school, that would have happened that week before finals. We would have all been crazy and fun and outside and inside and all over the place doing Ed Cup. It's going to have to be different this year. But again, Miss Edwards is not a quitter. And just because we have a coronavirus, just because we're on quarantine or whatever this thing is that we're doing right now, does not mean that we're not going to give this thing a shot remotely, okay? It's going to look different, just like all of this stuff has looked different, but I'm just not taking a defeat on that. I'm not taking a, we can't do it because of the circumstances. That's not how I roll. So, Ed Cup is still going to happen the week of May 18th. But here's how it's going to be different. First of all, you're not going to be confined to have a team within your old class period, because class periods really don't matter as much right now. So you can pick your team from 7th period, the democracy, or from 8th period, the Daddy Shakespeare, okay? I don't want you to have more than 4 people on a team, so your max is 4. And I want you to start thinking about who you might want to have on a team. The games, obviously, are going to have to be things that we can accomplish remotely, but I'll try to mimic what we would have done as well as I can, okay? Ultimately, we're just kind of making it up as we go along here, improvising as we go. Monitor and adjust, that's what we do. So give some thought. Who would you want to be on your team? Who would make a good complement to you? Who has a skill set that's different from yours maybe? Or who do you work well with? Who would you enjoy working with? Think about those kinds of things and start pulling together some Ed Cup teams. I'm going to tell you, this year of Ed Cup is going to be probably the most telling year, because I have not had another situation, maybe in my career, where kids had to overcome so many weird things in the middle of the school year. So I guess what I'm saying is this is going to be like the Ed Cup of all Ed Cups, as far as the winners are going to have more to brag about by a long shot. Of course, there will still be prizes. Of course, you will still get to sign the cup that lives eternally in room 409 once we can all come back to room 409 and safely sign the cup. So just be thinking about it, okay? All right, if you've got questions, let me know. If you need something, let me know. If you haven't already gotten your book and you want me to bring you a book, let me know. All right, key thing is communicate with me and I can help you. All right, have a fantastic, wonderful fantabulous, brilliant, beautiful, lovely, awesome day. Talk to you later.